My name is Laurens Wapenaar. I am product manager at FinDock, and with me is Klaas Koistra, also product manager at FinDock. And together we'd like to show you what's in our May 23 release. Everything we'll be talking about is already available in your production, in your sandbox environment. It has been automatically pushed from our end and will automatically become available in your production environment on Sunday night, May 21st. You can follow the progress of this release on our status site, status.findock.com. There are many things we'd like to talk to you about, but the main topics for this webinar are the new FinDock Academy, the new VIPS payments processor that we've introduced. We'd like to talk a bit about ACH Direct Debit, and finally we'll round up with all the somewhat smaller bugs and enhancements that we've created. But before we do that, a brief update on our pilot features. We will release our Moto feature to general availability with this release, which means it's available to all customers and partners. And we also think it's good enough, the quality is high enough for us to be able to call this general available. So we will no longer introduce breaking changes, for instance. But it's good to say that we also still have the Norwegian features in pilot. So our Norway Direct Debit feature that we've introduced in last release, and this new VIPS feature that we'll be talking about will also be released in pilot. For these features, we're always, of course, looking for customers and partners to join us in finding out whether what we have released is the thing to move to our product in a final stage. To make Moto generally available, we've only done a few, mostly cosmetic things. So we've renamed the reuse existing card feature to reuse stored cards. Because we found that this resonates more with customers and partners and aligns better with industry language. We've done some small UI updates for a better experience for agents based on the feedback that we had from customers. And we've introduced better error handling for a better configuration experience in case, for instance, a target was configured incorrectly. Important to note is that Credit Card Moto is a paid add-on feature. You can try it out in your sandbox anyway, but if you want to use this in a production environment, please contact us to get started. All right, on to the new things. So first topic I'd like to talk about is our new FinDock Academy. What we've seen is that many new customers and partners first have to do our training. But that means a 2-day commitment, right? And you can choose when and where to do this training. And based on feedback, we've decided to build a more self-paced training that can be done online in your own time. That will include self-paced lessons and also quizzes, just to check your knowledge and to give you a better sense of what you know and don't know. This is all in a new learning portal that we've created and set up. And with this release, we've set up the first few courses based on which we want to see whether what we've built aligns with basically the expectations of customers and partners. And to make sure that it does, we are looking for people to try this. So if you are a customer or partner that's not so familiar yet with FinDock, or you know someone in your organizations that is less familiar, either a consultant with an SI partner or an admin in your Salesforce admin in your organization, please ask them if they'd like to help us teach people about FinDock and maybe learn something about FinDock in the process. You can contact us at support@findock.com to join the pilot. Next up is our VIPS package, and this will be demoed by Klaas.
Thanks, Laurens. So last release, we introduced Aftal Giro, which is the leading Norwegian direct debit solution in pilot. And with this release, we are very happy to announce that we add the other major payment method in Norway, VIPs, to our list of pilots, completing our move into Norway. For VIPs, we support both one-time and recurring payments, which you can complete in the VIPs app for people that are familiar with it. So we've built a direct integration with VIPs, so directly with VIPs, so you only need to have a contract with VIPs, so no payment service provider is involved. But what's better than to talk about it than to just show you how this works in real life. So as you can see on my screen on the left, I have a giving page set up where I can donate one time and monthly to my Rhino charity. On the right-hand side, you see the screen of my mobile phone, which we will need to complete the VIPs payment after we filled out the giving page. Today, we're going to give a one-time 800 krona donation. I fill in my details. Now, for VIPs, the mobile phone number is the unique identifier that makes it that's linked to your VIPs account. So it's really important that we automatically send the mobile number from the giving page automatically to VIPs, which I'll show you in a minute. So I'll fill in my Norwegian mobile phone number. I hit next, and then I select VIPs as my payment method. What happens now when you're on a computer, you will see this screen, and as you see the amount that you are going to pay, and also the mobile number is pre-filled. If I hit next, it prompts me to open the VIPs app, which I will do right now. I log in with my Face ID, and you see the payment screen automatically pop up that you want to donate to FinDock test, in this case, 800 krona. The bank statement description that you saved the Rhino is there, and the underlying method of paying with VIPs is also there. So in this case, my VIPs account is linked to my MasterCard credit card, so I pay with that. Once I hit pay, again, I confirm with Face ID on my iPhone. The payment is confirmed. And then on desktop, you are automatically redirected to the thank you page of your giving page. All this happens through the FinDock API. And as you can see in Salesforce, because that's the important part, that the money comes into Salesforce, right? We see a new 800 krona installment set to collected, automatically matched and handled by FinDock in the background for you to make it really easy to collect both one-time and recurring VIPs payments from Salesforce. And that's the demo for VIPs. Now on to you, back to you, Laurens.
All right, thank you, Klaas. I will share my screen from here onward. So the next topic we'd like to talk about is ACH Direct Debit, which is the primarily used direct debit version in the USA. So as you know, we're mostly doing direct debit in Europe, but with this direct debit scheme, we're now also available for customers in the USA if they'd like to use direct debit. But with the side note, this is all done through Stripe. So what is ACH Direct Debit? Basically, similar to Bacs and SEPA and Swiss Direct Debit, you can do one-time and recurring payments. There is some kind of required email involved, like you usually have, and a certain type of verification. So for ACH, similar to with Bacs, it's required that you verify whether a bank account exists, but also, which is quite specific for ACH, whether the person that enters these details owns the bank account. There are two ways to do this verification. One is through the sending of micro deposits, which basically means that you, or in this case, Stripe, which handles all of this for you, sends 2 transactions to a certain bank account with a certain description and a very specific variable amount. And then the customer also gets an email, again, from Stripe to a portal where they need to enter these details to verify that they actually own the bank account. However, since this is quite cumbersome and there's a high risk of the customer not doing this within the mandatory 10 days, Stripe also offers a verification type they call instant verification, where they ask the user to directly log in to the bank account. And then you don't even need to enter your details. So this is now available both for customers in Europe, but also for customers in the US. Next up are bugs and enhancements. One thing I'd like to highlight is that we've extended our bank account sort code checker for our Bacs manual feature. So it was already possible to put a bank account check and sort code checker on the payment profile layout. And when you would make a payment through the API and through giving pages, we would already automatically check whether the bank account and sort code combination was correct. Now, what we've added this release is we basically extended the ways through which you can do this bank account and sort code check. It's now possible to put a component on the layout of a recurring payment, a recurring donation for MPSP, an MPSP opportunity, and simply the installment layout to check the related details. But the feedback we primarily got from consultants was they would like to use this in a flow. So we've created an Apex action that you can call where you can pass a sort code and a bank account into, and then our Apex action will check the combination with an external service and return a positive or a negative result that you can then show on the flow screen, as you can see on the right. If you want to go fully custom, you can also write a Lightning Web component or any sort of Apex and then call a global Apex method that we've exposed, which makes it basically possible to do this kind of check in basically any customer journey that you have or would like to create. Now, there's lots more of things we released, but it's too much to go over in detail. You can find all these specific bugs and enhancements and their release notes on our documentation page. In the release notes, one thing I'd like to highlight, though, is that we have done some work to make specifically our SEPA package fully shield encryptable, which means in practice that you can shield encrypt all the FinDock objects related that are required to do a payment for SEPA, which is a requirement for some of our larger customers. And again, and if you have any questions about these, you can either browse through our release notes on our documentation website, or you can contact me or class or our support department at support@findock.com. That said, thank you for joining this webinar. Me and class will stick around for questions, but if you have somewhere else to be, thank you for joining and see you next time.